Tonight's class was actually inspired by a girlfriend of mine, and some of you may know her because she's in this group, Coach Jen Winkler. We were having a very interesting discussion on this topic at my Memorial Day weekend barbecue at my house, and it just really stirred up a lot inside of me. And so I thought it was a perfect topic to go live with coming back from the holiday weekend because it is something that is so hotly debated online, especially. So, for those who may be seeing this for the first time, my name is Coach Michelle Hall. And today we are going to be talking about something that gets a lot of opinions online. Should you be moderating foods or should you be avoiding them completely? It is an extremely loaded question. And why does it even matter? Well, because this particular question impacts cravings that you may experience. Confidence. Your confidence could absolutely be related to certain foods. It sounds crazy, but stick with me here. And also your long term results in the health and wellness journey that you are in. Because this isn't just a nutrition philosophy question, it shapes how you eat, it shapes how you think, and it even shapes how you live. So if you've ever said, and I would love you to comment in the chat, I do just fine until I have one bite of. This class is 100% for you. How many of you have ever said, and I could probably call out a number of you, I do just fine until I have one bite? Be honest. I do. So, what is moderation? That word gets thrown around all the time. What is it? What the heck does it mean? Moderating means eating all foods in balance. But that assumes that you are going to stop at one. There's marketing that's centered around you can't stop at one. What is that? Like Pringles or Lay's or something like that? Some chip company? Somebody help me out because I don't know. It assumes that you are not going to obsess over some particular food item or even an entire food group. And it also assumes that you're not going to spiral because of this particular food. Moderation can work for some. It absolutely can. But it assumes a level of mental and psychological control that many of us, emotional eaters in particular, do not have with certain foods. I 100% know my trigger foods. Put in the comments if you guys know what your trigger foods are. And are you able to control yourself with them? Are you able to moderate these particular items that trigger you? And what do they do to you if you have just one? Can you stop at one? So, on the other hand, what is abstinence? What does it mean to abstain from these foods? Abstaining is intentionally avoiding foods that will trigger cravings, will lead to binging, and will disrupt mental clarity or even the overall energy or your attitude in a day. Those types of foods, do you think you should probably not engage in consuming those items? It's probably a good idea. Abstaining is not a punishment. That's something you guys need to remember. Not consuming a particular thing is not a punishment. When it is done mindfully and also intentionally, it can be a very powerful act of self-care. Especially if you know that these particular foods do not love you back. Do you love yourself enough to not have these particular foods? That's a decision that you have to make. That is something you have to know yourself. Me? Oh, I'm happy to share this with you guys. So, sweet potatoes. I did a reel the other day, and it was sweet potatoes and plantains. Neither of them will trigger me. I can eat them and feel peace within myself. I don't feel triggered by them. I don't feel like I am going to completely indulge and binge on sweet potatoes. But I also don't put marshmallows and brown sugar in my sweet potatoes. Why don't I do that? That'll lead to a trigger. That'll lead to a binge. But a chocolate donut, I love to talk about my waxy chocolate donuts because they were seriously my nemesis back in the day. I think 2016 through 2019, I would stop at a Circle K that was right by my office downtown and pick up a package of these chocolate waxy donuts. And that just created chaos in my life. If I did not have access to those donuts that day, it set the tone for that day. Because I would stop there every single morning and I would usually buy Circle K out of them. And if they didn't restock them before I needed my next hit, then it was a problem. And I had a bad day. So I can have the sweet potato or the plantain and move on. The donuts, no, that absolutely flips a switch in me. It honestly seems to be any sort of chocolate cake for me. And when I say chocolate cake, I even talk about Kim Howerton, who I love and I adore, and she's got the most amazing recipes around. She has a German chocolate cake that is keto-fied. German chocolate cake is my absolute favorite dessert in the entire world. So when she created this recipe, whoo, I was so excited. And of course, I had to make it. And of course, I just happened to have all the ingredients in the house. So I made it. And it tastes just like regular German chocolate cake. And it triggered me so badly that we had consumed half of the cake for my birthday one year. And I kept going back to the cake pan and cutting strips like this of cake and eating them to the point that it was another quarter of the cake. So then I took the spatula and I scooped it out and I put it in the trash because that had triggered me. And that was a keto dessert. That even triggered me. So I have had to learn the hard way that some foods, even keto-fied versions of them, will open the floodgates. And you know what? I know I'm not alone. I have heard from people that they have similar issues, even with keto desserts, and it's best for them to just not indulge in those particular things. So, sorry, I'm reading comments too, guys. So, back to non-keto-fied types of, of indulgences and trigger foods. It's basically how our brain is on these ultra-processed foods, the chocolate, the waxy chocolate donuts. It will light up the dopamine pathways in our brains. Have you ever seen the picture or even the video of an MRI of somebody who has consumed cocaine and then an MRI of somebody who's consumed sugar? It lights up the exact same areas in the brain. Our dopamine pathways. We need that dopamine hit, right? It will also hijack our hunger cues. So we really don't know if we're hungry or we're just really wanting that particular substance, whatever it is. So yeah, these trigger foods of ours will absolutely act like a drug in our brains. And studies are coming out right and left now. I wish this stuff had happened 10, 20 years ago, but we're all just paying attention to it now. So studies are showing that these ultra processed foods, especially the ones that are high in sugar and fat, light up the reward center. They give us that dopamine hit, just like addictive substances. And for some people, it's not just about having willpower. It's about the actual brain chemistry and what is happening in that moment. So if you have one of these eating disorders, and yes, emotional eating is an eating disorder. Don't poo poo it. If you've got it, you know, you understand. It will affect our chemistry. So let's talk about fear based restriction versus empowered boundaries. My clients all love when I talk about this, especially when they say, I'm not allowed to eat this. How many have you have said that in the past? If you've started, especially if you've newly started a health journey. Oh, I can't eat this. I'm not allowed to eat this. I tell every single one of my clients, no, no, no. You can eat it if you want to, but you choose not to eat this. Whether you elaborate on why you choose not to or not, it's nobody's business. But I can't have this. No, I choose not to have this because I value my peace. I know what this food is going to do to me. I know what this particular thing is going to cause me to do if I have it. Is the restriction that you have rooted in fear or guilt? Because that's going to lead to shame and rebellion, which is going to lead to what? Binges. Because our cravings are going to get so severe that we'll give into them. We will binge, and then here starts the cycle all over again. We have the guilt. We feel so horrible. Why did we do this? We're so stupid. We're so weak. But if you put boundaries in place that are rooted in self-awareness, that is going to lead you to food freedom. There's a big difference between the fear and an empowered decision. And we know the fear comes from social media and all these influencers that have all their opinions about all the things. Tell me if I'm lying. I would love to know if you have seen that online and if you have experienced it and if you have made decisions for yourself based on what they have said on social media. Because you'll see one influencer say, you have to cut out all carbs. All carbs are bad. That is not science. And then you'll see another influencer who says, you can eat anything. You just have to eat it in moderation. You can eat anything. That is not true for everyone. I know that 100%. And I think a lot of you do as well. Social media is filled with such extremes. And that's why I don't like spending a lot of time on social media anymore, is because the more I've gotten into my own coaching style, the more I see it, the more I hear it from clients or potential clients, and the more disturbing it is. Because you've got this person saying, this is good. Carbs are evil. You can't have carbs. They're going to kill you. And then you've got this person saying, no, you have to have everything. You have to eat intuitively. What does that even mean? I think I know. But what does it mean to you? You even see these comedic reels going on about, oh, I'm eating intuitively while they're scarfing down a dozen donuts. So the truth on either of these stances is it is a personalized thing for you. What does your body require? What is best for your body? Because guess what? Those influencers do not live in your body. They don't know what one decision can lead to. They don't know if sweet potatoes are going to be okay for you. and help with hormones. They don't know if a piece of sourdough is going to trigger you to have a month-long binge. They don't know. So let's talk about our triggers. It's a fun topic, right? I want audience participation in this one. I want you guys to comment, and I've got my phone here so I can see your comments. I want you to put in the comments what food leads you to overeat or obsess about that particular food. I've told you guys mine. The waxy chocolate donuts. Honestly, any kind of donuts. That's not a joke. German chocolate cake. Mm-hmm. Yep. But protein shakes that taste like certain things, I'm okay. Things that are rooted in my childhood strongholds. Mm-hmm. Dairy Queen. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, I want y'all to tell me, what foods lead you to overeat or obsess? Julie says cake. Any kind of cake? I'm like 30 seconds behind in the video. Sorry, guys. And then the next question is going to be, what foods leave you feeling energized and at peace? Me? Sweet potatoes. Plantains. I don't eat plantains a whole lot, but when we were in Puerto Rico last year, I had fried plantains, which I'm not gonna lie, were freaking delicious because they taste like potato chips. They weren't sweet, so I didn't get that sweet trigger. And my husband had mofongo, which was like mushed up plantains with meat on top and all sorts of stuff, and it was good, but I was not triggered by that. And those are very high in carb. So Julie says it has to be cake with buttercream frosting that triggers her. Okay. So tell me, Julie, what foods leave you feeling energized? What foods can you eat that some people tell you that you have to avoid, that you're okay with having them? And everybody else too, not just Julie. Julie doesn't have to be the only one with our audience participation today. And then the final question I want you to answer is, what do you need to limit? Not out of fear, but out of respect for your health. We're not doing fear mongering. We're not doing food or fear-based decisions here. What do you not consume because you know it will harm your body and or your mind? Chocolate donuts, chocolate cake, Dairy Queen. And these are questions to ask yourself when you are considering things to eat. What foods lead me to overeat and obsess? What foods leave me feeling at peace? What do I need to limit? Not because they scare me, but because I respect my health. Julie says Diet Coke. My husband's obsessed with Diet Coke. Your body knows that what you need and what you should avoid. And the experience that you have, the life that you have lived is completely valid. Don't let anybody negate what you should or should not do. Stop outsourcing your body's choices, your food choices, to TikTok and Instagram trends, and start listening to what your body is actually telling you. That's being intuitive. Not intuitively eating all of the donuts because that's what your body's telling you to do. Andrea says sugar 1000%, and Julie says she has to limit Diet Coke for her health. And I appreciate that. My husband should too, but he chooses not to. So So now, again, audience participation, if you want to put it in the chat, you can. If not, just write this down. And it can be, in the replay or now. We are going to build a food peace statement. We want food peace, right? We want to be able to have non-fear based decisions when it comes to certain foods in our lives. So write these down. I feel best when I avoid waxy chocolate donuts. I choose to avoid blank because it leads to blank. I choose to avoid Kim Howerton's amazingly delicious keto German chocolate cake because it leads me to be triggered, and I will eat the entire cake. And even though it's keto-fied, it has almond flour, and I do not always get along. And I know that I am going to experience lower back pain and foot pain, and my joints are going to get tight and my fingers are going to swell up if I consume too much of it. So my keto-fied German chocolate cake, which is amazingly delicious, is a trigger for me. This is where we stop fighting food and we start creating healthy boundaries. This is where we choose peace, not punishment. I can't have this. I choose not to have this because. If you feel like you're punishing yourself because you're not consuming a certain thing, that's not a healthy way of thinking. That is not a healthy relationship with food. You make an educated decision to not do something because it is not in your best interest. It's not for your best well-being. So something to take away from this, and again, the constant debate, the back and forth on social media, is you're not broken. I've said this in other master classes too, because we tend to think that if we've got these particular issues, if we struggle with these things, we're broken. We are irreparable, right? You're just learning what actually works best for you in this time. Is it going to potentially change? 100%. My journey started in one place 5 years ago, and I am in a different place today. I have learned to what works for me at this particular time. It's not weakness. Me choosing to implement certain carbohydrates back in my diet is not weakness. It's actually smart. It's smart of me to listen to my body and give it what it's telling me it needs. We need to stop shaming people for doing what's actually helping them to feel stronger, feel better, potentially help their hormone health, feel like they are clear and that they are in control of a situation. Whether you are able to moderate or you choose to abstain, make that a choice that supports you and your peace. Don't do it for other people. Who cares what other people think? Andrea and I had this conversation this morning. Julie says she used to leave notes on her fridge why she wouldn't have certain foods along with the reaction of the symptoms. Yes. Yeah. If you've ever felt like certain foods control you and have control, I've done it. If you've tried to moderate these things, because everybody's different. Oh, you can moderate it, but you end up in a binge, or you just want to stop thinking about food all the time, I've created a new program. It is a very concise, and a shorter program that I normally do. It's only 6 weeks long. You don't need another diet. You need strategy that's designed for you, your brain, your body, and what's going to support you in your life. So if you're sick and tired of guessing what's going to work, oh, I'm trying to, this doesn't work. I got to try this doesn't work. You know what? Let's walk through it together step by step. This 6-week program that I've created is going to focus on making peace with your food choices, not beating yourself up or constantly having that internal struggle and that battle happening in you. We'll have weekly Zoom calls. It's perfect for women who have emotional eating issues because it's mostly centered around that. It's going to help you with your trigger awareness, and it's just going to help you to find the peace with food again. So if you would like information about that, you guys know where to find me. I will be posting about it in the group so that you guys have the information and the start date, which is going to be very soon, actually. And I can walk you through this. We can do this together, and you can have the support of the other people who participate in the program as well, because you don't have to be alone in this particular battle. This is not something that you need to do by yourself. You've got me. You've got access to my group. You have access to the other people inside the group. You're not alone. Whether you can do it on your own with the support of others who may be experiencing things, or you need a little extra help, that's okay. You're not a failure. We all need help. And it's okay to ask for that help. It's okay to swallow your pride and say, I can't do this by myself. Please help me. I just say that because it was a conversation I had with somebody this morning. So, all right. Anybody have any questions, any insights that they want to contribute with regards to their own experience with moderating and abstaining from certain items? I'm not ignoring you. I'm reading comments. Julie, yes. The way that I eat, the things that my body requests that I have is probably going to change again. Absolutely. And Andrea says she used to be a Diet Coke freak, but she's changed to Zevia and plain seltzer with flavored electrolytes. Yep, that's a good one too. Okay. All right. Well, I try and keep these things short, sweet, and to the point, right? Here we are at 30 minutes. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you've got anything else that you want to go over with regards to future masterclasses, I posted in the group. I'm looking for ideas for the rest of the year. I am going to be pre-recording a class with a male coach that will be really helpful for people in this group and or significant others if you want them to watch it as well. That will be taking place in 2 weeks when I am on vacation, because I will be in a ship in Alaska and I'm not going to have great internet to be able to do a weekly live training on the 16th of June. So that'll be a pre-recorded class that we have there. But please let me know what you guys want to learn about, because I am here for you. This is all for you guys. I can sit here and talk to myself all day long. That doesn't matter. I want to know what you need help with, what you would love to learn more about. So make sure that you're putting that in the group. And if you know people who would benefit from these live trainings, invite them into our little club. It's not exclusive. It's open to everybody, and let them know we don't judge. It's okay. You can have mistakes. You can be imperfect in here, and nobody's going to eat you alive. Okay? So I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Thank you, Andrea. Yes, the more honest we are with ourselves, the better we will be. I can't agree with that anymore. So everybody have a great Monday night, and I will see you next week. Bye.